Now in front of you guys, we're having probably one of the most bold soloist climbers of the last years and of quite a long time, Alex Honnold from the USA. Welcome here in London for the annual festival. It's very nice to have you here.
I appreciate it.
We're very happy. I know it's the second time coming here to Poland. Mm-hmm. It's going to be probably a typical question. How does it feel to be coming back to the country where, well, there's not been so many festivals, but here you will probably encounter around, I don't know, maybe 2,000, maybe a little bit more than 2,000 people coming up for your show.
Yeah, it's actually pretty impressive to me how big the climbing community here is, considering how bad the weather is and how far away the rocks are. I'm just like, man, yeah, it's like, I was really surprised driving into town here. It seems like such a small town, and then we got to the heart of the festival, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many people. It's like pretty cool to see.
Yeah. Very happy for it, and very happy to have a big start here. You basically came half an hour or an hour ago, and since then you're mostly giving up interviews and chatting with the media. And it's nothing strange to say that since solo free climbing El Capitan, probably a lot of this media attention has been on you since the last month.
Yeah, for sure. Certainly after soloing El Cap, there's been like a big spike in interest, which is interesting to me because I don't know, El Cap is a big deal to me for sure. I mean, that's why I've cared about it for so long, but you know, I mean, it's sort of an incremental step, you know, like I've been doing a lot of soloing for years, but yeah, Freerider definitely like captured the imagination in a way that the other routes haven't.
I remember we talked about this probably some 5 or 6 years ago during the festival in Poland in Łódź.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember asking you the question, like, is it some sort of a goal that was going around your head?
What did I say?
Yeah, what did you say? You said that obviously it is something that is there, but it's not yet becoming a real goal.
Yeah, that's very fair. Because I mean, I've been thinking about it since 2009, but every year I would show up in Yosemite and look at the wall and just be like, oh no, like that's not possible. And so it was always more like a dream or like a fantasy, you know, rather than like an actual goal. And it's only really been in the last year and a half that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna specifically work on this as like a project.
What was the working process? What did the working process consist of?
Well, climbing the route, rappelling down the route, and memorizing moves, and like working on different sequences. And a big part of it actually was exploring variations and potential, like to go around certain sections. Not necessarily, like even in the places where I didn't wind up finding something to go around, it was just good to know that I had to commit 100% to whatever the sequence was in front of me. You know, because I didn't want question marks in the back of my mind being like, I wonder if I could have just gone left around this. You know, because I didn't want to like be in the middle of hard climbing and suddenly like think that like, but maybe I should be on those holds over there. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to be 100% committed to the path I was taking. And so, yeah, I mean, there was just a lot of time spent on the wall, swinging around, looking at things, and like working on different sections.
Just for the audience, for all of you folks listening or watching this, we're talking about the first solo ascent of El Capitan. We're talking about the solo ascent that Alex made. It was like a month ago? Or
no, it's in June now. It's 3 months. I know it feels like a long time now. Yeah.
So we're talking about this. My question would be a little bit, would you be able to recall each of the moves, each of the steps, each of the meters?
I can
by heart right now.
I can recall all the important moves for sure.
Okay.
I mean, on the easy terrain, I can just sort of swim up it and it feels very relaxed, very fun. But the hard parts, yeah, I have fully memorized still.
What were the hardest parts of the route?
Well, so there's some low angle slabs down low that aren't physically very difficult, but they're so low angle, it means all your weight's on your feet and there are no handholds at all. So it's like, it feels very scary because if one of your feet slips, like you'll so those were obviously a challenge. And that was more like a psychological challenge to be able to trust my feet and feel comfortable. And then the physical challenge is up higher on the route. There's like a small boulder problem that's just like quite hard, very small holds, like hard to pull.
Yeah.
But
did you have any special preparation for the mental part? Or the mental preparation was just a rehearsal of the route?
Yeah, the mental preparation was the rehearsal, and also just a lot of time visualizing and imagining and believing, you know. I mean, I think that the biggest, you know, challenge in El Cap was like believing that it's possible, which, you know, took years to get to the point, you know, of it going from a dream to like an actual project. Like, I don't know, I mean, because every time you look at the wall, like it looks crazy.
It looks crazy. It looks very For many people, it looks like you would have to be a madman to commit into a thing like this.
Yeah, for sure. And even for me, like I was actually just in Yosemite 3 days ago, and looking at El Cap, like it doesn't look any different to me. Like even after having soloed it, I still look at the wall and I'm like, that's a really big wall. Like it's.
Okay, looking at all of this, would you still how would you consider yourself as a climber? Would you consider yourself mostly as a solo climber? Would you consider yourself as a rock climber?
No, yeah, myself a rock climber. I think I'm a very well-rounded general climber because I can climb big walls or speed climb or, I sport climb it. I used to consider it like an okay level, but now those standards are changing and my level hasn't improved much. But I think I'm a very like well-rounded climber.
And looking from this point of view, where would you find the future goals?
Well,
in the solo climbing, in the sport climbing?
No, for me, I'm more interested in sport climbing harder, like trying to push my physical limits maybe, just because I can't really think of any bigger solo goals. And in some ways, I think that the soloing and the wall climbing has kind of held me back from high performance sport climbing for so many years, because I've never devoted myself to like pure physical training, because I'm always like doing big walls on the side, and they're sort of like opposite ends of the spectrum. It's like hard to train for both. So hopefully now that I've sort of achieved what I wanted to in big wall and solo climbing, like maybe I can focus on the other end of the spectrum more. But we'll see.
Maybe the Olympic Games, huh?
If I was like 20 years younger and I was training a lot harder.
You would be thinking about it?
I mean, yeah, I'm sure if I was a 15-year-old in the gym right now, I'm sure I'd be like super motivated.
Oh, that's nice to hear, in fact.
No, I mean, I love climbing. I love climbing. If I was good enough to do that, I surely would. I mean, I think it'd be really cool.
Okay, just to sum it up a little bit, what will we see tomorrow?
I think my presentation tomorrow will be mostly about El Cap and the whole process and what it took to get there. A tiny bit of just background, like my climbing history, but mostly focused on El Cap, because it is, it does seem completely crazy to go from just like, oh, I'm a normal kid climbing in the gym to like, I'm soloing El Cap. But for me, it actually makes total sense because it's like a 20-year process with like a lot of steps in between.
That's interesting.
Yeah. We'll see though. Actually, I'm going to need to cut it down a little bit since we're translating. Yeah. Like we'll see what we talk about.
Anyhow, stay tuned or please come if you got the time tomorrow. 9 o'clock it is. Alex Arnold, thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure.